I'm Annette Insdorf. Three Colors Red is not only the third part of Kieslowski's masterful trilogy, but the last film he directed before his untimely death in 1996. It invites us to contemplate not only a contemporary yearning for meaningful contact, but the imperceptible connections between versions of ourselves. This film of 1994 has obvious connections to his double life of Véronique, the haunting tale of two incarnations of one woman. In Red, a crusty retired judge, played by Jean-Louis Trintignant, meets Valentine, a kind model played by Irène Jacob, who starred in the double life of Véronique. He seems to be engineering her contact with Auguste, a young lawyer who lives across the street from her, a man who increasingly seems like a younger version of the judge. The cinematography by Piotr Sobocinski is an integral part of the story, as Red is structured through internal rhymes and haunting parallels. It's less a linear construction than an intricate play of reflections, punctuated by recurring images. Please pay attention to telephones, cars, flashing lights, and splashes of red. They convey the desire for contact as well as the fear of intimacy. The camera's elegant but deliberate movements suggest a benign surveillance. The camera, like the judge, seems to be aware of everyone simultaneously. The camera's intricate choreography, combined with the use of red, presents a world in which little has been left to chance. Retroactive reasoning is the term Kieslowski invoked to describe the enhanced repetition of images. As Sobocinski explained, they designed later scenes to show that some earlier, apparently casual events were important to the story. For example, the circular flashing bulbs of the opening set up the notion of light as movement, which will be developed throughout Red. The opening sets up the thematic and stylistic terms for the rest of Kieslowski's film. Sound precedes image, as we hear a rumbling that will turn out to be from a man's hand dialing a telephone. A second viewing of the film makes clear that the photo by the phone is of Valentine, and the caller is her boyfriend, Michel. The sound includes rain, presaging Michel's comment, "Typical English weather, it's pouring." The camera's exhilarating physical trajectory begins with a whip pan to the left, following the phone wire, and then enters the filaments. It zips underwater as we hear distorted sounds and voices conveying the technological path that the human spirit must travel at the end of the 20th century. Circular lights flash with the sound of beeping. The line is busy. The call is placed again, and contact is made. Redial could serve as the subtitle of Kieslowski's oeuvre. The story of Red gives the character of the aged judge a second chance by Valentine to be human. At the end of the trilogy, she too is given a second chance. This opening introduces numerous elements, from the phone, which will become the judge's surveillance device, to the omniscient camera, and from crossed wires or missed connections to chance. For the judge, telephones exist like radio, to be listened to rather than spoken on. You might notice how the color red connects characters, scenes, and perhaps temporal dimensions. Brown, the derivative of red that Sobocinski visualized as the film's dominant color, it's part of this associative fabric. For example, the first shot of Auguste's apartment includes a brown-toned painting of a ballet dancer. This idealized image of female beauty in motion will be incarnated when Valentine arches her back in the same position during a ballet class. Sadly, Sobocinski died young too, in 2001 at the age of 43. Sobocinski also shot Decalogue 3 and 9, where van den Boedenmeier is first mentioned. In Red, the supposedly Dutch composer, whose magnificent score permeates the double life of Veronique, he's invoked in the music store as well as on the judge's desk. Van den Boedenmeier is Preisner. The bolero he composed for Red is perfect because it is cumulative. It's theme and variations. Ultimately, the judge and Auguste are reflections of each other. Kieslowski explained that the theme of Red is in the conditional mood. What would have happened if the judge had been born 40 years later? He said, how many better, wiser things we could have done. That's why I made this film, that maybe life can be lived better than we do, unquote. Piesiewicz said that when the Berlin Wall fell, he offered Kieslowski the idea of the Three Colors trilogy, knowing people would be talking about liberty, equality, fraternity. He saw that people don't really want to be free. We want to be in love. Of the three, fraternity is most important, unquote. Krzysztof Piesiewicz also said that he never met anyone as honest as Kieslowski, who also had an immense love for people. And Kieslowski's co-writer said that shooting the Decalogue so fast, maybe he rushed because he sensed he didn't have much time. Kieslowski and Piesiewicz were planning another trilogy before the filmmaker's death, following heart surgery in Warsaw. Heaven, hell, and purgatory were the themes. This resulted in the movie Heaven, directed by Tom Tykwer in 2002, and the movie Hell, directed by Dani Stanovic in 2005, a French-language drama about three sisters. And then there's the Polish film Hope from 2007, directed by Stanislav Mucha. Now, this evocative drama doesn't seem to be equivalent to Purgatory, especially because Kieslowski's name is not on the script credit at all. Rather, it invokes the faith, hope, charity trilogy that Piesiewicz said he'd be writing on his own. Red was voted Best Foreign Film by the National Society of Film Critics in the United States, as well as the New York Film Critics Circle. It earned Kieslowski an Academy Award nomination for Best Director, and Sobocinski a nomination for cinematography, a rare honor for foreign filmmakers. Almost 30 years later, it retains not only abundant artistry, but mystery and soulfulness. And now, Red.